Good morning, students. I hope you all are fine and in good health. Today, we are going to take up chapter number 13 clauses from your grammar book. Let's see the definition at first. A clause is a group of words with a subject and its finite verb. That means in a clause, you will have a subject as well as a finite verb. Now, see the examples. That I ought to go home when the rain fell. Now they do not give a complete sense, but they do make a sense when these clauses are used in a sentence. Like see the example of a sentence here. When the rain fell, Alan, who is my friend, hurriedly bought something that was expensive for its value. Now in this sentence, different clauses are combined together to give a complete sense. Now see the segments of this sentence. We can break this sentence into different clauses. Like A part, when the rain fell, Alan hurriedly bought something. Who is my friend? That was expensive for its value. Now A, C and D, these three are clauses, whereas sentence number B, Alan hurriedly bought something, do give a complete sense. So this is the main clause, whereas when the rain fell, who is my friend, and that was expensive for its value are the clauses that are combined together to give a sense. Now, when a clause can stand on its own and makes complete sense, we call it the main clause or principal clause. So that part of the sentence that can stand on its own, like this part, Alan hurriedly bought something. This is the main clause, whereas the rest of the clauses had to depend upon the main principal clause. So these are called the subordinate clause. A clause which is dependent on the main clause is known as a subordinate clause. So we could understand that what is a main clause as well as what is a subordinate clause. Now a sentence with both a main clause and one or more subordinate clauses is called a complex sentence. So we can see a main clause and one or more subordinate clause only in a complex sentence. Now we will go through the different kinds of subordinate clause. Subordinate clauses, there are many kinds of subordinate clauses. So the most common of them are, the first one is noun clause. Now noun, being in a noun clause, the clauses can do different functions. Like we know, a noun can be a subject of the sentence, it can be an object of the sentence, it can be a complement and an apposition also. So we will understand the functions of a noun clause. The first one is in apposition to a noun. That means it gives further information about a noun. Now let's see the examples. He told me that I ought to go home. Now he told me that I ought to go home. What he told me, this part of the sentence tells us about that. So this is the apposition, that I ought to go home. The criticism, that I was too fuzzy annoyed me greatly. Now that I was too fuzzy tells us about the criticism, so it is an apposition here. So in this way we can make use of noun clause as an apposition. Now in the second function, as a subject of a sentence. See the example. Here noun clauses are formed as a subject of the sentence. What he wished to tell me in confidence is now common knowledge. Now these bold words is the subject of the sentence. What is now common knowledge? This part is the common knowledge. So what he wished to tell me in confidence, this is the noun clause used as a subject of a sentence. Second example, where they hid the loot is still a mystery to the police. So now what is the mystery to the police? Where they hid the loot. So this is the subject of the sentence. Now in the third part, noun clause can also be written as the direct object of a verb. They wanted to know why I had revealed their secret. So now they wanted to know. This part, why I had revealed their secret, this is the object of a verb. They wanted to know. What they want to know? why I had revealed their secret. So this is the object of a verb. She was informed that her family fortune was not acquired fairly. Now she was informed. What was she informed of? So she was informed about her family fortune, which was not acquired fairly. So this is the object of a verb. Now say fourth function of noun clause is as the complement in a sentence. Like the thief's ability to disappear without a trace was what puzzled the police. Now, what puzzled the police? This part of the sentence is just a complement to the sentence. The thief's ability to disappear without a trace. So, this is the complement here. Could she have helped him was one of the questions the police asked themselves. Now, one of the questions the police asked themselves is a complement to the sentence. Now fifth part, as the object of a preposition. Now as the object of a preposition, we can make use of noun clause. We were amazed. Amazed, you can see here at is the preposition, and along with that there is an object. What we read in the newspaper. So we were amazed at what we read in the newspaper. We were annoyed at. So what we were annoyed at? The way the police had handled the case. Now, the way the police had handled the case is the object of a preposition at. So, these are the functions that are done under noun clause. Now, let's see the another kind. It's about the adjective clause. Now, as the name suggests, adjective clauses do the work of an adjective. But this is a clause, so there will be a subject as well as a finite verb. See the examples. A man who is rich is sometimes envied by others. So a man, which man? Who is rich? The rich is the quality of the man. So this is the adjective clause. So a man who is rich is sometimes envied by others. See the next example on Friday. So the classification of the man is the adjective that is used here is I met on Friday. The house we live in has fallen down. Which house has fallen down? The house, particularly that one where we live. Sing the song you sang last night. Now sing the song. Which song? That you sang last night. So the specification of the song is the specific one. The adjective is added here is adjective clause is here you sang last night. So this is the specification of the song. So where we are giving this specification or using adjective. So this is the adjective clause used. Now next is the adverb clause. In the adverb clause we do a lot of functions like an adverb. They indicate where, when, how, why, with what result the action of the main verb takes place. So we will go through these points also. As we know, in adverb, we do find the time, the place, the manner, the reason, the causes. So in this way, we can learn how the things had happened. Now the flag was raised when the sun rose. So the flag was raised. So when the sun rose tells us about the time. At what time the flag was raised? So when the sun rose. So when it is a reference to a time, it is an adverb clause. He swam where the water is shallow. So now he swam where the water is shallow. It tells us about the place. So when we are talking about and giving a reference to a place, so that means adverb clause is used. Now men will reap as they sow. So this is the manner. The man will reap as they sow. So this is the manner how the thing is done. So again it is an adverb clause. As it was late, we decided to go home. So as it was late, so we are giving a reason here. That means this reason indicates that adverbial clause is used. As it was late. So it is indicating the reason because we were late. So we decided to go home. So in this way, we learned about the adverb clauses also and the other functions. Now let's see the further functions. He goes home as often as he can. Now it tells us about the frequency with which the work is done. He goes home as often as he can. That means how many times? whenever he wishes, as often as he can, whenever he wishes. He does this in order to show that he really cares for them. So now he does this with a purpose. That means for what purpose? For the purpose to show that he really cares for them. So here indicates a purpose, and again it is an adverbial clause. So these were the three kinds that were covered under the subordinate clause. Now let's learn about the coordinate clause. Now, as the name suggests, coordinated clauses are independent clauses. That means these are the clauses which are independent. They do not rely on the other. All clauses of equal status. But now next are coordinate clauses. Coordinate clauses are independent clauses or clauses of equal status. So in these clauses where we are combining independent clauses and those are of equal status, and these are combined by coordinating conjunction, and in this way we form the compound sentences. So coordinate clauses are used to form compound sentences. See the examples. We shall see the film show. You can ask us about it. Now these are the independent clauses and both are combined with the help of a coordinate conjunction. We shall see the film show and you can ask us about it. Now and is the coordinating conjunction used to combine both the clauses. Now I enjoyed reading the book. I did not enjoy watching the film based on it. I enjoy reading the book, but is the coordinating conjunction used to combine and form coordinate clauses. Now see the points. There are as many clauses as there are finite verbs. So we can find out and trace the clauses according to the finite verbs in a sentence. In a complex sentence, there must be at least a main or principal clause. So in a complex sentence, you will have a main clause as well as a subordinate clause. So a main clause has to be there. In a compound sentence, there must be at least two main clauses. So a compound sentence can only be framed when there are two main clauses. Let's go through the chapter again and see the points that we have revised. A clause is a group of words with a subject and its finite verb. There are mainly three kinds of clauses: noun clause, adjective clause, and adverb clause. So in this chapter, you learn about the subordinate clauses and coordinate clauses. So I hope students, the lesson is quite clear to you and you will go through the exercises in your online classes. Have a nice day. Thank you so much.